I want to know, though, from you guys, because I feel like I don't know who the audience is for argument television, okay? But I think one of the reasons our audience rejects this talk is because they don't want, if they wanted First Take or its permutations, that's where they would be in the middle of the day instead of consuming what we're doing here. But I have found fascinating, Stugotz, over the last 15 years of what Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless built, right? Because a decade as the number one show on television, that's like unheard of. What Stephen A. Smith is worth right now, after very quietly, Stugotz, saying a couple times, I'm underpaid on television. He welcomes in McAfee and all these $17 million contracts, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, when he's the voice and face of ESPN, and he's now underpaid as soon as they all arrive. He welcomes them all in, and now his ratings are giant. And the greatest, I don't know if it's the greatest ego mistake I've seen in sports media, but Skip Bayless underestimating that he needed Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
For that show to be successful.
Colossal mistake.
But the numbers, Stugotz, so they make the same amount of money, okay? And Skip Bayless, but Stephen A. Smith also has a production company as part of what he's trying to build, which is going to be giant, I am sure. It's going to be powerful and impressive, whether he does it with ESPN or outside of ESPN, because Stephen A. Smith wants to play with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the sphere of, I'm as big a star in sports right now as there is. I'm a media star, and I'm at my company, and I'm underpaid. And he's going to have power. He's going to have an ability to get power here, Stugotz, because he brought in Shannon Sharpe too. He carried him over. Shannon Sharpe was done, Stugotz. Like he wasn't going to get back in the game, and now he's a giant on impact. And man, as soon as he arrives, and this has been brutal to watch. I've hated this for him. The piranhas arrive and devour him and mock him and try to eat him up. And this man is so strong. Like, his story is so strong, to come from the poverty he came from, a problem with a lisp, to being like a Hall of Fame loudmouth who now, has 2 artificial hips, but still wants to compete with everybody. And now can, because he's got a giant, valuable platform, and he works so hard, Stugotz. And I can't help but be impressed that at the top of our game, what the people are consuming, the candy of what it is that we do, we're watching the end of Skip Bayless, because those numbers are so bad, Stugotz. We were doing twice those numbers on ESPN News. Like, he's coming to the end of his contract, and Nick Wright is here to have the money that Fox has to offer. And Colin Cowherd's going to be able to do whatever he wants with him and his company and Shannon Sharpe. And they're going to compete at the top of the game, the sports media games and the athlete games at the top of the business. I find that stuff fascinating. Am I the only one? Yeah. That's not interesting to you guys.
It's very interesting. Nah. It's very interesting, big
How
brother.
can that not be interesting to you guys?
They're uncultured. That's what they are, uncultured. I'm with you, big brother. This is very, especially as a black man, you know what I mean, going through all of those things.
Juju, Stephen A. Smith was fired and came back from the dead.
Right.
Yeah, but we've talked about it.
It doesn't get talked about enough, man.
He's
quite frankly, it's impressive what he's done.
Right.
Of course it is.
That show. How can you guys disrespect what that man has done? You disrespect what he has done to get back to the top of the game through the labyrinth.
Fine, but what are we going to talk about his funeral if we keep talking about it now?
Exactly. He
did what Shane Gillis did times 100. He got them folks to invest in him, and now he's still at the top of that. Brother,
Stephen A. Smith is about to change the game again, and now he rides with Shannon Sharpe, and they can build whatever the hell they want.
Right.
With or without ESPN. That's the interesting part. With or without ESPN.
Of course. With or without Disney, or sell it back to Disney. This is now not just the money game. It's the power game. It's the influence game. It's the legacy game. It's not just Stephen A. who's going to get fat on fame. He's trying to build something that is a giant platform. First Take has been number one for more than 10 years. Skip Bayless created an economy. Stephen A. Smith buried it. He's super competitive. He's a conqueror. and he's getting bigger than he's ever been, and he comes from McDonald's commercials. Like he will. What is about to happen is he is about to, I think, shake the industry with his next contract, and should, because he's a ratings monster, and I can't believe you guys don't. Yeah, you guys don't find that interesting.
To be clear, Stephen A. did not start his career in McDonald's commercials.
Right.
No, he's just done that.
Okay.
He's been in McDonald's commercials. He's done commercials for movies. Like, he was fired.